Hello everyone, my name is Nick, and thank you guys for listening out on my contemporary health issue on depression for Dr. Sir's class of 302. So, I try my best not to bore you guys to death, so let's go on to the subject matter. So, with the introduction, depression is a mental illness that has long been considered as taboo. Taboo meaning a secret or someone that no one really likes to talk about. And so, that being the case, it is a very, very lethal silent killer because a lot of people don't realize it until it's too late, or no one will ever suspect it being someone who has it until an event that may take place where it's unfortunate, such as like for a good example of Robin Williams. Everyone will remember the passing of Robin Williams, that he had a depression. No one knew that he had it. No one suspected it, and yet he took his own life. And then after that, then they found out in his autopsy that he had a very rare form of depression where he may not have known that. We can't say for sure. But knowing that no one knew it until it was too late, it was very unfortunate. So, that's just a really good example to that. Social media as a whole has been a positive and yet a negative to this kind of problem. I'm going to start on the cons. For the cons such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms have been a negative contribution as an outlet or a source where people who would just bully, but on a different level of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is just being anonymous. You can say anything to someone. They will never know, but you can lead them into a negative mental state of mind, and they may develop anxiety or become bipolar or have a form of depression just based off of negative bullying in the social media outlets, which is very unfortunate. And then and the other thing is that if someone's being bullied in the social media outlet platforms, regardless of how they try to manage it, they can never escape it because someone can always do it on a new platform. So it's very unfortunate. But on the same flip side, social media as a whole, as an organization, has realized that there are a lot of outlets and programs who try to venture out into those markets, knowing that there are a lot of people who are in need of a form of help, and knowing that the fact that social media has a lot of platforms within them, knowing that Facebook, there's a couple of advertisements or ads, and knowing that if you have it or if you know someone who has it, there's a source of help for them. So that's a good benefit for them. So, sorry, go back onto that other one. So, it is very challenging and yet an uncomfortable discussion to have when it comes to talking about depression. And I have a 17-year-old relative of mine. She's a high schooler, and her and I, we have that I guess of a problem because she has I can't say if she does or does not have the form, but she has issues where it's kind of depression-like symptoms where even for her, she has a hard time talking about it with someone else besides the psychiatrist or psychologist. So I can acknowledge and respect the fact that it's not easy, let alone it's not easy to try to help someone who has it, but how can you help them? One of the things is that one of the first things about its origins, that it's been discovered or been recognized in the 19th century, and in that same time frame, psychiatry has been founded at that same time period, knowing that it can be a specialty that can help people who have that form of depression. A good thing about depression sometimes that it has a physical feature, meaning that people may have a physical body language or gesture, how they feel, how they carry themselves, how they talk, or how they are in a mental state, like in their mood. you can see it in a sense where you don't know if they're having just a bad day or they actually have a form of depression. That same flip side is that people can't describe it. They don't know how to explain about it. They may have that look. They may have that feel. They don't think that it is that. Or there's some people who may think, and you may be thinking they may have it, but they don't. But the person who is very happy, like Robin Williams, who had it, but no one suspected it, being that person who has a depression. So it's very challenging disease to battle. And so another thing that it's very unfortunate is that you have to see it to believe it, which is probably the biggest mistake. If someone has it and you discuss about it with them, you should believe it first. Or you should recognize and acknowledge that they may have a concern, that you should help them in a way or lead them to an outlet that can help them. So the silent killer, such as like Robin Williams or such as my younger sibling, my cousin, didn't realize it, that they had it, or realize that they have a health issue, which it can impact them very negatively in the long run if left untreated. It's kind of like earlier with Robin Williams. The happiest people go often commit suicide. It's the least suspected people that would do that to themselves. So it's very unfortunate. Where everyone should be looked at the same in regards of if they do or do not, or if they talk about it. So the other thing is with Robin Williams, that's a good example that he discussed about it openly in a stand-up show back in the 80s when he was doing stand-up. And he talked about the times where he has like depression as well as taking drugs, like heavy drugs. I don't recall the drugs themselves, but I do recall that a lot of people were laughing at both of those two subjects as being very funny, but in a way, when you look back into it now, he probably was being very open, talking about the mental health that he had, as well as knowing the drugs did not help him with that problem. It was masking the pain, knowing that he took his own life, and it was very unfortunate, and it was too late to help him. And that the other part, let alone with my younger sibling, as another example, they're too embarrassed. They're too embarrassed to talk to people about this problem. It's not a good feeling, because if she talks about it with someone else, they may look at her as a person who has a mental instability or not mentally right in the head in a negative way, where it shouldn't be like that. And it's very unfortunate. And one of the things that happens is that it just builds she just would not have any trust with anyone, which is very unfortunate, because if she were to tell someone besides like myself, or if she were to tell her dad, he would have told her to suck it up, tough it out, which in the long run doesn't really help. And at the same time, if done correctly with the right steps and the right options of helping her, she can improve a lot better in that same time frame. So with the social impact, with that being in there, that being in place, social media has been a large impact for both health and wellness, which is a good thing, because social media, it's less face-to-face interactions thanks to that. But at the same time, it has the negative effects of the coping skills, which is you have a lot of information given to you, but how can you really apply that in regards of helping yourself with that ailment? If you didn't want anyone to know about it, but you're trying to help yourself with that, you're trying to get better, how can you process all that information, let alone apply it, if you don't really get that one-on-one help per se? And the other thing on the social impact, a lot of celebrities who've lost their lives to the disease has really pushed a movement of recognizing and acknowledging that this is a very serious disease and shouldn't be taken lightly, just like how we look as cancer as a very serious matter and shouldn't be taken lightly, which is a good thing. So celebrities have pushed that awareness through social media, commercials, ads, sponsors, etc., etc. and that Robin Williams being the best example to us, because a lot of people grew up watching him and understanding like he was not a role model, but he was a really good actor that everyone enjoyed and watched, and just grew up thinking it wasn't going to be his time until that unfortunate event. And that sharing it through social media has been helping a lot of people, and it's been proven. And so the other things is that how can we help people with this disease, and how can we be able to help them with the problem. And so the risk and the health and the preventions is the negative things about depression is that there is a lot of mental issues, knowing that you can have lack of sleep, inability to eat. So you're going to have the health problems of insomnia and malnourishment, which are two negative things you don't need to have. It's tough as it is. As a normal person, it's a lot harder when they have depression plus those two things as well. So it doesn't make life easier. One of the benefits for my younger sibling, she's in high school. And one of the benefits of that is that the counselors will speak to her or speak to other students like in regards to like their well-being in school, making sure if they're coping with their school or just in their social life or just at home. And so it's a good thing, and we need more of that, which is making sure students are very healthy, both physically and mentally. And that social media, again, just pushing the platform, just anti-bullying or awareness of depression, it's just been a positive thing. So those are good preventions or good components to helping this situation. The other thing is nutrition. Nutrition, oddly enough, has been a very key important thing for people who have a form of depression or depression-like symptoms. And this was where I found this very surprising for myself when I came across the information. You can tell people have a healthy diet. Well, what is a healthy diet going to be composed of? Let alone what kind of a healthy diet. Because you can have a healthy diet, but it may not impact a person the same way as this other person. So, with that being said, nutrition. A healthy diet of foods that improve serotonin levels. Healthy fats such as omega-3s, such as salmon, cod, tilapia. Fatty fish like red meated fish, as well as avocados, which has high omega-3s, healthy fats, as well as coconut oil, which is another good source of that. Probably the most important thing, though, which is in this second portion right here, don't skip meals. Skipping meals means that you're going to drop your blood sugar levels, which is low energy, lower levels of serotonin, which is a very key component. So if you skip meals, you're going to put yourself in that position where it's not going to be a benefit. So always eat, whether if it's a small meal or a large meal. Always have food in your system. That's, as long as you keep a stable blood sugar, your serotonin levels are going to be okay. You're going to have a better, productive, more energy in your system to help combat the depression as a whole. As well as another thing that I saw very interesting is all of these supplements. The benefit is all these supplements here in the United States that they're all dietary supplements that you can get at the pharmacy store or at Walmart or CVS. So you have L-theanine is about 100 to 600 milligrams a day, depending on the dosage you need and depending on the severity. They can take care of some light to moderate forms of depression, as well as omega-3s or fish oils, 1 to 3 grams a day, which is like 1 pill or 2 pills a day. St. John's wort, and then SAMe it's another diet type of supplement that can help with the nutrition. So if you're doing everything you need, but it's not enough, at least you know that there are a supplement outlet right there that you can take to help with that problem. So it's a good benefit knowing that there's good foods out there. And the other thing to realize is that with the public relations, current strategies. So with the last strategy, all we need to do is just share them more, promoting it and making that awareness in there. So as well as stop the bullying, stop the violence, and then just push that outlet some more. And so preventing any harm. So thank you guys for this.